Hey, welcome back. I wanted to make a video real quick talking about social consciousness. Um, I think if you watch my video about the social consciousness, that I always talk about how people act when they're outside, and definitely in these strange times that we live in, how people um, need to distance themselves, but they seem unable to do that, and so there's an awkwardness about it, and it almost seems like it becomes one of contention, you know. So I was out shopping, and I was looking at the social behavior, just like of the people here, which is a state that has very little COVID patients. But I can imagine in a big city like New York, that if I see it in a small sample, like this small town that I live in, I can imagine that a big city is probably really awkward. And I was just watching the behavior of people. So this lady and her husband, you know, it was one of the. I was out in a supermarket, and she had on shorts and a tank top. It's warm all of a sudden here. It's like 80 degrees. And her husband had on a long shirt and some, you know, dad pants. And they were shopping, and they had no mask on. Let's see, I'm watching other people who have masks on around them. Now they're talking to each other, but their conversation is one that usually you want to have, like, I don't know, like you want to not do it when you're in public. Maybe you want to do it in the car, talking to your wife, maybe at home or somewhere outside. It was kind of loud. It was a little obnoxious. And everything they did was awkward in the sense that they kept invading people's safe space. And of course, you know, I'm just watching this, and I'm just watching the behavior because this is what I do. I'm conscious of myself, of, you know, invading people's safe space. I always stand back if somebody gives me that look like they're a little uncomfortable. I give them the space. I'm not gonna be confrontational. No need to. That's how. Look, people are looking for confrontation. Those people, you need to learn to ignore them. Give them their space. Let them find somebody else to have a confrontation. I'll run into somebody who's going to challenge them and make their day miserable. They want to go around making their day miserable like that. More power to you. But these people were awkward, and the supermarket was not crowded, but they made it seem like it was crowded. Not only that, the cart was full, and they got a full cart, and you know, that's another thing, but whatever. And finally, they get so close to this one lady that she looks over at them and gives them a look like social distancing. And the lady already was like, these people were already one of those people who look like they're combative about everything, you know? And she was like, "What?" You know, like insinuating, "Why are you looking at me?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we're supposed to be, you know, distance from each other. Not only that, you're touching your face and touching the packages." And she pointed that out to her, which I, you know, like, I was like, "You're looking for trouble." Because this lady and her husband looked like they were on the, you know, they were on the deep end. But anyway, so the lady goes, "Well, I mean, I'm not sick." And, you know, the lady was, that's not the point. Anyway, she was like, "Look, I'm not having this conversation." She walked away. End of that discussion. But I guess it was alerted to the store manager. The store manager came over and asked them to leave the store. Now they had their shopping cart full, and I didn't want to stick around to see the end results of that. But I guess they started getting into discussion. The store manager had all the right to ask them to leave because they were being, they were. But look, this is the thing. They were the type of people who look to get into situations. Now, in today's environment, if you're that type of person, naturally you should distance yourself from other people. Because if you're the type of person who are agitated all the time and looking to get into a situation when you want to jam yourself up or jam somebody else up with your problems, with your social awkwardness, that's on you. But people are just, they're not intentionally trying to tell you to keep their distance from you, or you keep distance from other people. It's just a sign of the times that we live in, and the media, and they harp on this. Our politicians are beating the drums constantly and telling us that social distancing, stay at home, blah blah blah. And so that little bit of fear is in everybody, just that little bit of like, if you're not aware of your awkwardness being out socially, then maybe you should ask your friends and your family if you're one of those people. Anyway, I thought I'd just make a video about that. It's not, I mean, again, if this was like 9 months ago, 9 months ago, not that far back, 5 months ago, neither here or there, nobody would have made a big deal about it. But I think the changing environment and the changing way we're going to deal with each other in society going forward, we're going to have to learn how to make adjustments. And that says you have to do it without being, a jerk or an asshole, like being combative with people. Just give them their space and respect that. They might not be doing it intentionally. It just might be something that they just want to have their safe space. So people need to just like relax, and hopefully everybody get back to work. We need to start getting back to work next week. I think will be the last week of this, pretty much. Maybe some states might have a lockdown further, like New York, Massachusetts, those states that have millions of people inhabiting it. But I think the orders should be lifted come around May 1st, and probably by the middle of May the economy will pick up. People will start getting back to work. Now, for those who want to stay home and collect their checks and live in their socialized government and don't want to work, just a little tip: if they call you back from your job and you don't go back because you want to stay home and collect that unemployment, when that dries up, the job won't get you back. You won't get that job, and there won't be another job to replace it. Because right now, as it stands, with the 23 million and plus people who are out of work, if even half of those get called back to work, a lot of those people effectively were going to be fired, or they were on the cusp of not being, may not get their job back. So there'll be less jobs going forward for those who think they're going to stay home and collect unemployment for the next 4 months. Because when that dries up, there won't be a job for you. So, needless to say, don't rely too much on the socialism today. Maybe in the next presidential election, you might get that. But right now, get your ass back to work and let's get this economy going. Stay safe, stay positive, and we'll talk again.